Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminds us to focus on what we can control. Rejection, by its nature, is something outside of your control. What others think of you, how they respond to your actions, and whether or not you're accepted these things, are beyond your grasp. However, your response to rejection is entirely within your control. When faced with rejection, the first step is to distinguish between what you can and cannot control. The rejection itself is external. Your reaction, however, is a reflection of your inner character. By focusing on your response, you can transform rejection from a blow to your ego into a catalyst for growth. The Stoics teach us that our interpretation of events is what gives them meaning. Rejection doesn't have to be seen as a failure, can be seen as valuable feedback. When you face rejection, instead of dwelling on the negative emotions it may stir, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Perhaps your application wasn't strong enough, or your approach wasn't aligned with the person's values. By reframing rejection as constructive criticism, you can use it to improve and refine your approach the next time. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is emotional resilience, developing the ability to remain calm and composed in the face of adversity. Rejection can stir up feelings of disappointment, anger, or sadness. However, these emotions are fleeting, and they do not define who you are. When rejected, remind yourself that your worth is not determined by the opinions or decisions of others. Your sense of value comes from within, not from external validation. By practicing emotional resilience, you cultivate the strength to move past rejection and continue on your path. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius writes, "Don't hanker after what you don't have. Be content with what you have." Rejection is often painful because we place too much emphasis on external validation, whether it's the approval of others, the success of a project, or the acceptance of a proposal. We often tie our sense of worth to external outcomes. To use rejection to your advantage. Detach yourself from the need for external validation. Your self-worth is inherent and cannot be diminished by someone else's opinion. When you stop seeking approval, rejection loses its power over you. Rejection is a natural part of any process, whether you're pursuing a career, a personal goal, or a creative venture. Marcus Aurelius teaches that hardship and adversity are essential elements of life's journey. Rather than resenting rejection, accept it as a necessary part of the path toward your ultimate success. Each rejection is a step closer to the right opportunity, the right connection, or the right outcome. By accepting rejection as part of the process, you free yourself from the fear and frustration that can otherwise hinder your progress. One of the main sources of suffering in life is attachment to specific outcomes. We often build up expectations about how things should unfold, and when they don't, we feel rejected or disappointed. Marcus Aurelius advises us to let go of these attachments to specific outcomes. Expect nothing, and you will never be disappointed. He writes, "When you remove the expectation of success, you will find that rejection doesn't sting as much. Instead of feeling disappointed when things don't go as planned, you'll be open to the unexpected opportunities that may arise." Rejection is an excellent opportunity for introspection. When you face rejection, take time to reflect on the experience. What could you have done differently? Were there areas for improvement? Marcus Aurelius urges us to examine our actions with honesty and humility. Look within, and you will find everything you need to improve. Rather than blaming external factors or other people for your rejection, use the experience as a mirror to identify areas where you can grow. This self-reflection will not only help you improve but will also strengthen your sense of control and self-mastery. Another powerful Stoic lesson is to recognize that others' opinions are not absolute truths. When you are rejected, it is important to remember that the person or entity rejecting you is simply expressing their subjective view, not an objective judgment of your worth or abilities. As Marcus Aurelius notes, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Therefore, a rejection is just an opinion, not a definitive statement about who you are or what you can accomplish. By viewing rejection through this lens, you can maintain your peace of mind and focus on what truly matters. The Stoic virtues wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance can help guide you in navigating rejection. When rejected, exercise wisdom. By seeking the truth in the feedback you receive, show courage by moving forward despite your disappointment. Practice justice by treating others with fairness and dignity, regardless of their decisions. And embody temperance by maintaining balance and not letting rejection overwhelm you. By living these virtues, you will not only cope with rejection, but use it as an opportunity to become a better, more virtuous person. Sometimes rejection is a blessing in disguise, a redirection toward a better path. Marcus Aurelius often reminds us that life is unpredictable, and what seems like a setback may actually be a nudge toward a more fitting opportunity. If you are rejected, instead of viewing it as the end, see it as a redirection to something that is more aligned with your purpose. Trust that the universe, or life's unfolding, has a way of guiding you toward the right place, even if that guidance comes through rejection. Keep your mind open to the possibilities that lie ahead. It's easy to fall into the trap of resentment when we face rejection. We may feel wronged or disrespected, and we may want to lash out or harbor negative feelings. Marcus Aurelius advises against this, teaching that holding on to anger and resentment harms us more than anyone else. Instead of resenting rejection, let go of the negative emotions and focus on what you can control: your thoughts, actions, and responses. In doing so, you preserve your peace of mind and avoid allowing rejection to poison your character. It reminds us that we are not infallible and that our successes are not guaranteed. Humility is a central tenet of Stoicism. As Marcus Aurelius says, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. When rejected, use the experience to cultivate humility. Accept that you are not always in control of outcomes and that there is always room for improvement. This humility allows you to grow and develop in ways that might otherwise be impossible. It can also be an invitation to reinvent yourself. Sometimes, rejection forces us to take a step back, reassess our approach, and consider new possibilities. In the face of rejection, embrace the opportunity to evolve, to learn new skills, or to adopt a new mindset. Marcus Aurelius teaches that we should constantly strive to improve ourselves, regardless of external circumstances. Use rejection as a catalyst for self-improvement, pushing yourself to reach new heights. Conclusion: transform rejection into strength. Rejection is not an enemy, is a teacher. By adopting the Stoic mindset and applying these 13 lessons, you can turn rejection from a painful setback into a powerful tool for personal growth and self-mastery. Remember that rejection, in the grand scheme of things, is neither a failure nor a final judgment. It is simply another part of the journey toward becoming the best version of yourself. When you embrace rejection as an opportunity, you transform it into strength, wisdom, and resilience. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Rather than allowing rejection to define you, rise above it, learn from it, and continue your path toward mastery.